Hey everybody, Radam here for another episode of Kenshi. So I'm going to make my characters head back towards home. There's just too many bandits infested up in these hills for me to feel safe. And once I give them all some mining jobs and the like, then I'll start going over some of the tips you all have had for me, which will be good. So with Radamant, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him go train on the dummy. I'll level him up first. Miu and Hamit will, let's see, take this copper node and let's actually just assign it. Ruka and these three will get this iron node. All right, so what I was saying before is, or maybe not even before, but I would like to get to a point where I train all of my characters so that they're at least proficient in a fight. You know, they don't instantly go down. So what I'm going to do is work towards that goal. So there's a few different ways to do it. One is to encumber yourself until you have enough strength XP to gain strength and then pick up another character or even an unconscious bandit or something like that and basically walk around. That's strength training. I'm going to sell some of my dried food and they don't have any of the stuff I'm looking for. So that's one way to do some training. There's other ways as well to train. Training dummies is one of them. So I would like to get more training dummies up and running. But for the moment, I'm just going to wait until I have something to sell to the vendors because obviously I don't. So one of you mentioned that I have, yes, I need toothpick type ammo, not the regulars. So I need to switch my ammo type for green. Oops, let's pretend I didn't mix that up. And we'll speed time up a little bit. So, the tips that you all had, let's go over them now that everyone's working on something. Ron Van Dorp mentioned that there is furniture. Let me see if I have any of the blueprints. I don't yet, I don't think. Let's go over these blueprints. So I have basic farming, water tank, well, shack, camp, lights, stone processors, some storage. Storage ore would be pretty nice. What that would allow is the characters to automatically deposit it. Pretty good investment, if you ask me. Let's go back to the buildings. And that's all. There's a lot of other storage. There's also sort of like general storage that I can get. The research bench, the training dummy. That's about it. What I'll be doing is looking for furniture because Ron mentioned that a corner where idle characters can sit in is a really good way to see who is free and unoccupied. So that I know basically who needs a task. Another tip, Octopus Prime. Yes, so one of the things to do at the end of a battle is to hold shift a job that adds medical skill. And they keep this job. I'm going to do that with Radamant for now. Next time someone takes injuries. You can also do this with robotics and splinting. Just so that they automatically repair and splint and all that good stuff without having to figure out who's wounded. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's make our house private. Noah Chambers. If you hold shift while transferring items, you transfer the whole stack by dragging or clicking it. Like, well, this is a really bad example because I don't have stacking here. But yes, that's a really good tip as well. Nalu Fan Chibi mentioned that I can build storage for iron and copper ore in my base, and they'll deposit it automatically. And then food storage in the base, and they'll take the food when needed. So one thing about food storage, which is interesting, not that I currently have that kind of storage, is hungry bandits and animals are attracted to food. And the more raw food, the more they're attracted, I believe. So raw meat or dried meat, that kind of stuff, they're very attracted to, whereas like processed food, like if you bought a bowl of rice or whatever, would be attracting them a lot less. And one way to avoid getting jumped by animals all the time is to not run around with your food. So if you can have your food at home, that is a great way to avoid, you know, getting jumped. So right now I don't have that storage built, so I have to manually tell these guys to take the ores, but eventually I'll have some storage and they can deposit it manually. If I look at my statistics, this is leveling up my melee attack. So ideally I would want to level up, probably start off with katanas and get my melee attack and defense up a little bit more. Get my strength and toughness. One of the things about toughness is you just basically have to get beaten up to raise it. I would like to get beaten up where I have a chance to do some beating as well. It's not so fun to get beaten up when they are smashing you up and you have a risk of death. Mr. Killer mentioned one of his favorite places to build is Gut, the blue area in the east. So if we look at the map, let's see. I'll have to Google the map. Oh yeah, using my Google foo skills here. Gut would be right here. This is Gut. Not to spoil anything, and he mentions it's very fertile and you can grow a lot of stuff. So right now I am sort of between Border Zone and Sten Desert, sort of near the swamp. So you've got Border Zone and Sten Desert, and then the swamp, and that's all where I have been. That's kind of a safe place to be at the start. Then, of course, you have Vane, which is around here. That is the Vane area, and the Hive Village is in the eastern edge of Vane. And there's a lot of different zones, and I'll have to think about where I want my ultimately my base. And I might have two bases. I might have a starter base and somewhere safe, and then eventually, when I'm a lot more powerful, a much better base somewhere more dangerous. Ron Van Dort mentioned that the east end of the swamp is pretty good too, as long as I am able to take out blood spiders. So that would be around here. I'm not exactly sure where he means east end of the swamp, but that would be around that area. Some other suggestions: getting wooden backpacks that can really stack, or I could just get a pack animal. That's another pretty easy way to do it. Let's make sure we're taking our iron. Otherwise, these guys are not so productive. And that was Never Clever. Actually was the one that mentioned the uncooked or dried food will bring predators and hungry bandits way more likely than rations or things like that. Alejandro mentioned that a second weapon would be a really, really good idea for anyone that has a two-hander. So if one of their arms gets crippled, we can change from a two-hander to a one-hander rather than to force them to punch. Because if you have a two-hander like Ruka does, for instance, and she has a crippled arm, she's really only going to be able to use the one-hander. That's a very fair point. Ideally, initially, I would like everyone to get probably a katana, which is a one-hander anyway, but that's because that really helps train their dexterity. And then Guedes said, and he mentioned this was untested, but one very quick way to loot everything from bandits is to carry their bodies as backpacks. Basically, fill the bandits' inventory until they're, topped up, and then pick them up and carry them around, and then bring them to a shop and sell everything. And then you can just dump their corpses. Kind of grim and dark, treating a human like a backpack, but hey, if it works, it works. Who am I to judge? So right now we have melee attack 4 out of potentially 6. 6 is where we cap out on these puny little training dummies. But with that said, green And Mew can also do some melee training as well. Everyone else has above the threshold marker, except for those guys. Okay, so it is 3 in the morning. What I think I'm going to do is once daybreak comes, I'm going to want to do a little strength trading and trading, trying to get maybe not all of the, well, maybe 3 training dummies. I like that for now. And then some ore storage so that I can automate a little bit of the ore, and maybe some food storage to automate some food. You know, there's a lot of little quality of life things I can do to just make this a little bit easier on myself. Ideally, I guess what I could do also is to aim to steal as many ninja blades from swamp ninjas as I can, because they're katanas. It depends on what enemies have. Oh, you want to bag check me? Sure. They're very pissy about smuggling, aren't they? Alright, Hamid and Mew. Yep. Grabbing the stuff. And if we check my encumbrance, you can see the amount of strength that I'm building doing this. It'll be a lot easier when I have a box for this, obviously. Alright, so I'm about full up. And I can always make multiple trips. We'll check locally if there's any resources and the like. Ooh, that's scary. At least they're not attacking me. Oh, they're goats. I thought they were bone dogs initially. Just a pack of goats. Oh, I researched small house. That could be useful. Alright, Mr. Trader. Now that you are open for the day. Asking me to take a look around. I don't mind if I do. Alright, so you have building materials, you have iron plates. Perfect. I'm glad you have some new stock. I'm also buying the building materials because, you know, they might come in use. Let's buy some books as well. That'll allow for additional research. Just checking to make sure we don't need to empty out anyone's inventories, or rather the nodes, which was true, we did. Okay, we got ore storage up. And we will potentially have another training dummy pretty soon. So the shift right click here is the whole stack. I'm just going to put the building materials in there for now. So now that I have ore storage, as you can see here, they are dropping it off. Some obviously faster than others. Alright, and Chung, let's check out the tack. I think I'm going to do tech level 2 because that will unlock a new tier of training dummy. And that will be probably most helpful immediately. And then, let me see. Iron plates, steel bars, cotton fruit, copper. Okay. You can speed time up a little bit. I think they're probably all... coming to drop off their ores. And there you go. Now you can see their capacity. Ta-da! We have 17 ores. We didn't have to do any micromanagement for that. And he puts them back, because, you know, that's what he's supposed to. But instead, let's go ahead and sell off this iron ore. What we will do is eventually stockpile enough iron ore to do strength training. Okay, don't make me dizzy. But right now I'm just trying to sell it all so that I can gain... Oops, wrong way. I can gain some resources in order to buy some more training books and the like. Maybe another backpack, I don't know. We'll see. Alright, that's as many as I can afford. Because this is iron ore storage, I still have to do the copper stuff manual, I believe, if I am not mistaken. And as you can see, when Radamonk gets within range, they all decide to eat from his backpack, which is how we want it to work. Alright, Hamid has the katana. I'm going to trade it for my current Nadachi, which is not exactly a smart choice, but one I already made, so I'm kind of stuck with. Now, ideally, your iron storage would be a hell of a lot closer to your iron than I have it here, because there's a lot of travel time, which is a lot of downtime for when you're not actually doing anything, you know, any mining. But at the moment, you know, I guess I could do item storage. That will help with the variety of other things. Farming, baking. I'm just seeing if I haven't overlooked anything. I should probably do lockpick training as well. Even if you're not planning, and this is something I've mentioned before while recording these videos, even if you're not planning on thieving everything, because I don't want to go and profit that route, lockpick training is really useful if you ever find yourself shackled by slavers. You can pick your way out. Oh, I put my iron ore away. I guess that's fine. I'll, for the moment, just trade my copper and leave my iron for strength training later. Let's buy some more. Oh, some more books. So there are two types of research books, unless I'm incorrect about this. There is the ones that I am buying right now, and then there are ancient ones that they're sort of illegal, and they are much harder to come by. You come by them later. Make sure their inventories are actually empty. So now I have tech level 2. If I go to my tech tree, Let's see. Gear storage would be very nice. Beds are amazing, but I need a bench level 2. Yeah, pretty much everything's going to require a bench level 2, so I think that's my next goal to do. One of you mentioned that you had trouble fitting a bench level 2 in here. Don't know why, because here we go. Research bench level 2. Confirmed. Okay, we need a lot of iron plates for that. So I need 14 iron plates, I think. Maybe I'll just dismantle this for now and ignore that set of plates. Alright, let's go on a hunt for some iron plates. 10 will do. Just looking at my money, I don't really have the money for 10. Now, you can make your own, and that's a possibility. Not one that I want to overlook. Maybe it is worth getting an iron refinery up and running. I could probably... I don't know. Let's see if it's possible to do it on the roof. It'd be kind of a weird thing to do. But that still itself requires iron plates, so it's like chicken and the egg. No, it's not going to let me do it because, yeah, I forgot. I'm kind of in a town, and all right, so we'll just buy it. That will suffice. All right. Iron plates. Let's head to the Hive Village. It's possible that that I'll be able to loot some. Ooh, speaking of loot, we have some dust bandits here that are getting killed. Don't mind if I help myself to your stuff. Alright, what is my... Alright, let's see. Can I encumber myself? There we go. I am a little bit more encumbered for when I head to... let's head to Way Station, actually. The Dust Bandits are slaves that... So, I guess the slave... it's really confusing as to what's happening here. I think what happened was slave mongerers or slave traders had Dust Bandits, and the Dust Bandits won, and they are freeing themselves. Something along those lines. So now, as I'm carrying Captain Dust Boss on my back, I'm really going to train my my wonderful strength up. So if I look at my stats, my strength is going much faster. Sweet. And this is the soft caps. They're not caps, but the soft number that you'll end up getting is about 30 is really kind of easy to get to. That's kind of like a milestone for me to try to get all my squad members to. So I'm just doing Radamant first because he's the title character and I don't want him to die, basically. But eventually everyone will get trained in such a way. Looks like I am doing a really bad job with the hunger. We're going to have Radamant swing by this node here and feed everyone. Okay, there's a wolf down there. Dust Boss. I'm going to put you down because I got hungry people that needs feeding. So I'm going to unencumber myself to run a little faster. And here is the way station, which might have the iron plates I'm looking for. They usually do. Alright, so there's a bunch of mercs here. Mercenary captain, if I wanted to hire them. The mercenary captain is... They're sort of like... they are sort of like... how to describe them? Like your companions, but, you know, you have to kind of constantly pay them. Well, this guy doesn't have anything. Oh, no, he has the bolt toothpicks that we'll need. Blueprint camp shelter. Okay, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. Let's see if there's anyone to talk to. Nope. There's a lot of people, oh, they're bodyguards to talk to, and I don't necessarily know the full list of everyone that I should be keeping an eye out for. Bunch of people that will join me for about 3,000. I'm not looking for anyone at the moment, but definitely potentially in the future. Second floor, anyone of interest? We got some ninja guards. And Hep. Let's try to talk to Hep. And Krupp. They all have funny short names. Alright, Krupp hires out bodyguards. Plastic surgeon, well, I know what you do. Shek pacifier, I haven't pissed off the Shek, so I don't need to worry about that. Everyone wants money. Hep wouldn't be a bad person because they're a hiver, and, well, they're a very hungry hiver. I'm surprised they think they can fetch such a price when they're immediately going to eat my food. Alright, let's trade. Iron plates, perfect. Basic furniture. Value. Let's buy it. Random furniture, I'll come back for. Alright, that is 10. I'll buy 11. How's that? Let's see, I can buy some more. Nope, I can't even afford more. We literally bought just about all that we could afford. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna unencumber myself a little bit. Or try to arrange it so I'm less encumbered. That might be as ideal as I can get. And we'll head back to Squin. Where I'm sure these guys, yeah, are just standing around because I've not done my due diligence. But as you can see, my total weight allowance has obviously gone up drastically due to my strength training. It doesn't take much to train a little strength. Oh, hello. Maybe not say hello to the skin spider at the moment. Let's keep moving on. And before I go all the way home, I'm gonna make sure everyone gets fed. Because I've been doing a bad job of that. So we'll have him swing by the Iron group. Give them all something nice to eat. And then swing by the other group. So this group is actually hungry. And they're less productive when they're hungry in the amount they are. Alright, and then Miyu and this group. Swing by them. They're becoming faster and faster at mining. It's going to reach a point where I'm... let's drop off the iron plates so I have room to pick up their ore. It's going to reach a point where I really need the extra storage. Okay, so we've added some of the plates, but not all of them. Yeah, they're getting really good at that. Alright, let's force our inventory open. And that is probably all I can carry. And a lot of this sort of trade and production can be automated with technology, and it's a lot easier to do when you have a proper base. Obviously, I have a very rudimentary sort of setup here. Yes. So we can start constructing this beautiful tech bench. But the thing is, wow, half an hour whizzes by. I'm out of time. So with this extra tech bench, it will unlock the next level of tech, which will be furniture and stuff like that. But I really didn't get very much accomplished. I guess I did a little bit of strength training and a little bit of economy stuff. If you have feedback for me, drop me a line. I hope you've enjoyed this. I really am enjoying Kenshi quite a bit, even though it feels like it takes forever to do even little simple things. But it's much like Legos. If you want to do something epic in Legos, it's one block at a time, right? All right, well, thank you for watching, and I hope you tune in next time. Adios.